did something this week, these last 3 days, that I've never done. Almost 40 years of being alive, something I've never done. I went camping for the first time. Yeah, I know, it's a funny picture, even if you don't know me, just looking at me, to think that this happened. But I went camping. It was somewhere up north. I don't really know where we were. I just know it was down the road 3 or 4 hours. But I have a group of friends, probably my best friends in the world, that live here together, and they go camping on this trip every year. And they always try to invite me, but I always can come up with some kind of excuse. I schedule all my dentist appointments around this camping trip and these kind of things. But this year I couldn't come up with any reason why I wasn't able to go, so I go along with these guys. And about a month out from the trip, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pretty confident about what I'm able to do, and I'm thinking to myself, well, it'll be great. They're my friends. They're going to help me out. How hard can it be? I've watched Survivor before. I mean, I can handle this trip. And then it gets about 2 weeks out, and I say to my wife, I'll be fine, right? Of course, she's shaking her head no like that. But I think, well, maybe I should go buy some stuff. Maybe I should pack. I get a week out, and I'm getting even more nervous. And then about 2 days before the trip, I'm laying in my bed in the middle of the night, covers pulled up to my eyes. I'm going, I'm going to die. I'm going to get eaten by a bear. These aren't even my friends. They're bringing me out here just to make fun of me. They're going to desert me. I'm slower than all of them. They're all 10 years younger than me. The bear can catch me, because if you're running away from a bear, you don't have to be the fastest, you just can't be the slowest, right? So I'm all this stuff. And so what I do is I start going around to each of these friends and just trying to really subtly ask them questions that help me know what to expect and what to do, but that don't alert them to the fact that I don't know what to expect or what to do. So I text one of my buddies, Corey, and I say, something like, hey, we don't really need long underwear, right? Where would you even buy such a thing as long underwear? Which is a weird thing to text your friend, but in my mind, I'm going, maybe this will help me out a little bit. Or I reach out to my friend Mike and I say, well, what kind of stuff are you bringing? What kind of snacks? I text my friend Nate and said, were you guys kidding when you said that we need to bring our own toilet paper? There's really not a bathroom inside. Is this a joke? And I try to just ask these questions in such a way that nobody knows that I don't know what I'm doing, and that nobody knows I'm a little bit scared, but at the same time, I can get some of the answers that I need. Now my guess is that you've probably done something similar. You've probably been in a situation that was uncomfortable or awkward for you, and so you go, how can I just get maybe dip one toe into the water here, just figure out a little bit of how this works so that I don't look stupid, so that I don't embarrass myself, and so that I can be a part of this experience. If you've ever felt anything like that, if you've ever had a moment where you thought, I just don't want to look bad, then you'll really be able to appreciate the guy that is the main character, the centerpiece of the story that we're going to look at today. Now, we're working our way through the book of John, and we're in John chapter 3, and we're going to look at the story of a man named Nicodemus. So we'll pick up here right at the beginning of John chapter 3. It says this: there was a man named Nicodemus, a Jewish religious leader who was a Pharisee. That tells you basically all you need to know about Nicodemus and his position in the community. First of all, it tells us he was a religious leader. That means he was respected. That means he was someone who people would go to find advice. Everyone would have known who he was. His word meant something. Nicodemus had influence within his community. But not only was he a religious leader, he was also a Pharisee. Now, Pharisees were a group within religious leadership who were tasked with knowing the law, with making sure that everyone kept the law. So not only is he a leader, think like a governor or something like that, he's also a judge. It is his job to study the Bible, at least as much of it as they had up to that point. It's his job to study that, to know it, so that he can help other people. Now, the next thing it says doesn't really match up with that, because we're told that he's a person of influence, of stature, a celebrity in the community, if you will. And then it says, after dark one evening, he came to speak with Jesus. Another translation says he came to Jesus at night. Now, this doesn't make sense, because this is not how these religious leaders operated. These guys were loud and proud. They weren't afraid at all to make a scene. They rolled with an entourage of people, if you will. Multiple times in the Gospels, you'll see them confronting Jesus in spectacular fashion, right? He's right in the middle of talking, and they bring a woman who they've caught in the sin of adultery and throw her down at his feet. They ask him questions to trap him. They have no problem coming to him on big stages and making a scene. Yet this guy comes to Jesus at night. And the question is, why? Why does someone with influence and stature and power and position come to Jesus at night? He does it for the same reason that I text my friends little leading questions about going camping. Because he doesn't know what's going on. He's hearing Jesus for the first time say things that he hasn't heard. He's a religious leader. He's supposed to know better, and he doesn't want to look dumb. So he comes to Jesus at a time when no one else will see him coming to Jesus. He comes to him at night. Additionally, I don't think he's crazy about his friends knowing that he's going to Jesus. It's not going to play very well with the other religious leaders if they see him kind of buddy-buddy with this guy who's coming in with kind of a different message. He's just not convinced. Much like me on my camping trip, he's not sure that this is the right way to go. So he comes to Jesus.